Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's breakdown, I want to hear from you. As we unpack episodes 8 and 9 of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, I want you to pause for a moment and think about this question. If you were in Jeremiah's shoes, would you forgive Belly for her choices? Or would you walk away for good? Drop your thoughts down in the comments right now because I'm going to be reading through them and responding. This story is full of heartbreaking twists, unresolved emotions, and messy decisions, and I want to know if you see things the same way I do, or completely differently. So let's get started. Episodes 8 and 9 were absolutely gut-wrenching, not just because of the drama between Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, but because they forced us to confront the true consequences of pride, indecision, and selfishness. The love triangle that has fueled this entire series has finally hit a breaking point. And honestly, I don't think anyone walked away unscarred. Let's begin with Conrad and Belly, because their dynamic in these episodes is like watching two people who desperately want each other, but are too proud, too stubborn, and too damaged to make it work. When Conrad finally confesses his feelings, you'd expect it to be this cathartic, sweeping moment, the type of scene that should bring relief after so much tension. But instead it just explodes. Why? Because their pride gets in the way. They can't communicate honestly, they can't lower their walls, and instead of finding healing they find more pain. Now, Belly's decision to marry Jeremiah despite still carrying those feelings for Conrad. It's something I really need to unpack with you. On the surface it feels romantic, right? Jeremiah has been steady, dependable, someone who has loved her openly without games. But when you look deeper, it starts to feel irrational, almost desperate. Because Belly isn't marrying Jeremiah out of pure love. She's marrying him as a way of escaping her own confusion. She's trying to prove something to Conrad, to herself, maybe even to Jeremiah. And that's where the cracks begin to show. Take the rehearsal dinner scene, for example. It's supposed to be this joyful moment, a celebration of Belly and Jeremiah's commitment. But instead, it highlights how incompatible they really are. Jeremiah's dream is to follow in his father's footsteps, to live a life grounded in legacy and stability. Belly, though, has different aspirations. Her heart is elsewhere. And this isn't just about careers or life goals, it's about emotional alignment. They're not moving in the same direction, and deep down they both know it. And then comes Jeremiah's most vulnerable moment. When Belly confesses that Conrad still has feelings for her, you can literally see the walls closing in on Jeremiah. His insecurities flood to the surface. This isn't just about Conrad anymore. It's about a lifetime of being overshadowed. Jeremiah has always been the second choice, the safer option, the one who gets overlooked when Conrad is in the picture. And in this moment, it all comes rushing back. He feels the weight of being unloved, undesired, and it breaks him. And what does he do? He walks away. He abandons the situation. Not because he doesn't love Belly, but because he realizes that her love isn't whole. That realization is painful, raw, and real. It's the kind of heartbreak that forces you to question whether being chosen is enough if you're not truly loved. Now, one of the most surprising voices in these episodes comes from Steven. For so long, he's been the background character, comic relief, the easygoing sibling. But in this moment, he steps up as the voice of reason. He calls out Conrad for being selfish. He calls out Belly for being reckless and disrespectful. And he defends Jeremiah. Steven sees the damage that pride and stubbornness are causing, and he tries to stop it. In a way, Steven becomes the moral compass of this entire love triangle. He's the reminder that love isn't just about passion or longing. It's about respect, honesty, and accountability. And here's where I want you to chime in again. Do you think Steven was right to call them out? Or was he being too harsh? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Because honestly, I think he was spot on. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones we need to hear the most. Another thing that stood out to me is how the show's pacing actually works against the characters in a really fascinating way. In the books, everything happens so fast that you don't really get to sit with the consequences. Conrad's flaws, Belly's immaturity, Jeremiah's pain. They're all glossed over. But in the show, we're forced to live in it. We're forced to watch these characters unravel piece by piece. And it's uncomfortable because it exposes just how messy and imperfect they really are. And maybe the most heartbreaking part of all of this isn't even the romance. It's the sibling bond between Conrad and Jeremiah. Think about it. They were once inseparable. Brothers who shared everything, who leaned on each other through tragedy, who had each other's backs. And now, that bond is shattered, torn apart by love, jealousy, and rivalry. Watching their relationship fracture is like watching the foundation of the entire story collapse. Because in the end, is any romance really worth destroying your own family? Jeremiah calls off the engagement, and honestly, I was relieved. But here's the part that really got me: Belly didn't. She didn't take the step to end things. Jeremiah had to be the one to walk away. And that makes Belly look immature, almost entitled. If she truly loved Jeremiah, she should have been honest with him. And if she didn't, she should have let him go long before it reached this point. Even the parents in this story don't escape criticism. Where are they? Why aren't they stepping in? These are adults watching their kids spiral out of control, and instead of guiding them, they let the drama escalate. It feels irresponsible, like they're enabling behavior that's only making things worse. And then finally we get the big twist. Belly doesn't go to Rome like in the books. She goes to Paris. And who does she likely reunite with? Conrad. This choice is fascinating because it sets the stage for something new. Paris is romantic, Paris is symbolic, but Paris is also complicated. Because Belly insists that she needs time alone. So what happens when she and Conrad collide again? In a city built for love but haunted by unresolved pain. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Belly is chasing independence, but she keeps finding herself pulled back into the same cycle. Conrad is there waiting, but their issues haven't disappeared. If anything, they've grown deeper, sharper, harder to ignore. And Jeremiah? He's left with nothing. No fiancé, no brotherly bond, just the memory of being second best. And that's why my heart aches the most for Jeremiah. Because his story isn't just about losing Belly. It's about losing his place in his own family. It's about realizing that no matter how much love he gives, it might never be enough. And that's a pain that feels far more permanent than a broken engagement. So before we wrap this up, I want to hear from you one more time. Who do you think is truly to blame here? Is it Conrad for holding back his feelings too long? Is it Belly for playing with emotions she didn't fully understand? Or is it Jeremiah for ignoring the warning signs and choosing to believe a love that wasn't really his? Let me know in the comments, because this love triangle has no easy answers, and I want to see where you stand. In the end, these episodes left me frustrated, heartbroken, and strangely hopeful. Frustrated because of the selfishness and immaturity on display. Heartbroken because of the damage done to relationships that once felt unshakable. But hopeful, because maybe, just maybe, this pain will force the characters to finally grow up. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And please share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. Until next time, remember, love can be beautiful, but it can also be destructive. And sometimes, the hardest lessons come from the people we love the most.